Hey guys, Annie and I are back, having fled the United States for nearly the whole month of December and returning just in time to host Christmas with a blown out eardrum and a pretty serious case of sea legs. Crazy? Maybe. But you had to know we were maybe a little bit nuts when we ran straight off to the ABC Islands, not 40 miles off the coast of Venezuela, right smack at the height of that whole U.S. military buildup. The strikes on drug boats, the saber rattling, and the seizure of Venezuelan oil tankers, all that shit was happening right when we went down there. We had more than a few friends and family members voicing their concerns, as well as some perfect strangers in the comment threads. But update, we are home safe and sound, and we not only survived but thrived down there, and we had an absolute friggin' blast, proving yet again that it more often than not pays to not be a pussy, and the path you most likely need to follow in life usually lies just beyond that dark cloud of fear and anxiety. So get out there, folks, and live life like you mean it. Now that the holiday madness is behind us, I can finally focus on going through a mountain of awesome footage, and the travel videos from our trip are just about to start dropping, beginning with this one right here, which is just going to be a sweeping overview of our adventure and our rankings of each port from worst to best and why. Let's be real, we were lucky enough to spend a cold winter month in a tropical paradise, so nothing about this trip was bad per se. But that said, we pride ourselves in being the punk travel channel that refuses to serve up the usual milquetoast bullshit, and that sometimes means brutal honesty. So, far and away, the best leg of the trip was to the ABC Islands, which is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. If we could go back and have it our way like Burger King, we'd definitely have traded the Roatan and Cozumel leg in a New York second for more time in the ABCs, and here's why. The Caribbean, if you've been there, you'll know this to be true, can sometimes be a little sketchy, even a little scary. Some islands just have an underlying feeling of desperation about them that's palpable, from aggressive vendors to street hustlers and scam artists, and this accurately describes Roatan and Cozumel, with Cozumel definitely being the worst of the two. A lot of people might find that surprising because everyone's heard of Cozumel. You might never have heard of Roatan or the ABC Islands, but Cozumel is world-renowned as a diving and snorkeling paradise. Now, while that may be true, we found the diving and snorkeling to be markedly better at every other port that we visited, and the level of desperation and persistence of the islanders was the most off-putting in Cozumel. Would we ever go back to the ABC Islands? 100% yes. Would we go back to Cozumel or Roatan? Not unless it's part of a package, not when there's so many other beautiful places on Earth to see. Now, I know you might find that surprising, and if your experience was different than ours, feel free to share in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. And we all make mistakes. It's possible we took a wrong turn or did Cozumel wrong. Stay tuned for specific videos to drop for in-depth dives into our itinerary at each port, and maybe you'll be able to see what we did right and where we went wrong. With Roatan and Cozumel in 4th and 5th place, that leaves us with 1, 2, and 3 on the A, B, and C islands. And once again, our results might just surprise you. Of the 3 islands, Aruba is the household word. While Curacao sounds more like a liqueur you might have seen listed in a margarita recipe, and Bonaire sounds like maybe nothing you've ever heard of before. While Aruba may top the list in familiarity, it lands solidly in 3rd place in our ranking of the ABC Islands, and that familiarity is probably what's to blame. Aruba is more of a tourist trap at every turn. The beaches are gorgeous, but there's a sense of traffic congestion and an almost American hustle and bustle, complete with fast food restaurants, franchises, chains, and while those beaches are every bit of what they claim them to be, getting there can be a bit of a headache. Before we reveal the top 2 rankings in our list, now's probably a good time to describe the sort of vacation that we were taking. This was a cruise ship, the Majestic Princess of Princess Cruise Lines, so we didn't have a lot of time to waste at each of the 5 ports. We basically had 1 day per port, so every hour of each new day really had to count. We were not participating in any of the ship's organized shore excursions. We were going rogue, doing DIY explorations of each island by either renting a car or taking taxis, depending on our itinerary at each port. And the focus of our fury was to find remote, idyllic beaches for self-guided snorkeling adventures. Ordinarily, we might not have risked doing something like that. All cruisers are painfully aware that if you go rogue and don't pay for a tour that's organized by your cruise line, if anything goes wrong and you don't make it back to the ship on time, it's going to leave without you. That's a little concerning. But this time we were in the company of a couple of seasoned veterans to these islands who you might remember from a year ago when we met them in Hawaii and followed them back home to Utah. They assured us that the ABC Islands, Cozumel and Roatan were small enough and safe enough to explore more fully and effectively on your own. And folks, they were exactly right. As rough as that footage looked back on Cozumel and Roatan, we never once felt unsafe. If you're thinking about taking a cruise to these locations and you're wanting more out of the adventure than getting shuttled to a crowded public beach, rent a car. The rental companies were always within a block of the cruise port, and the price tag was about $75 to $100 a day, plus insurance. Always get the insurance. It's only another $20 for 100% peace of mind. Another critical tip for adventurous cruisers, I'm afraid you're going to need to pack your own snorkeling gear for this, and it's going to take up a third of your suitcase, so you'll have to pack less clothing and do laundry once a week. Not a big deal. The best reefs and secret beaches do not offer snorkeling gear rental, so you're going to need to pack it in and pack it out. Okay, it's time to reveal our top 2 ports in the ABC Islands, Roatan and Cozumel. Click that bright cherry red subscribe button right now so you'll have yourself a front row seat for all the individual in-depth videos from each port that are about to start dropping. Without further ado, the winner of the number 2 slot in our rankings is beautiful Bonaire. With its Dutch colonial architecture and garish Caribbean colors on full display, undeveloped natural beauty, exclusive access to pristine reefs, and vast expanses of the weirdest surreal landscapes that you can imagine, coupled with the friendliest, laid-back vibe from happy vendors who don't pressure you at all and genuinely want you to have the best time possible on their island. You know, the way it frickin' should be, right? And while I would love to show you more, you're pretty intelligent, and you've already determined through a process of elimination that our favorite port, the best of the best in the ABC Islands, Roatan and Cozumel, is hands down the ABC Island of Curacao. Just wow. From the best snorkeling experiences to the coolest port we've ever seen, and a chance to indulge in true island cuisine, Curacao was the undisputed winner of our hearts on this adventure. And in order to join Annie and I on Curacao, just click that subscribe button, and Curacao is going to be the next video that I drop. That's a promise. Hope you enjoyed our ranking video and found the content informative. Thanks for joining us, and ciao for now.
I want to go everywhere and see everything.